That is the djembe, the king of the African drums. This djembe is loud like me. It's happy, it's joyful like I am. But it's carefree and it's expressive like I am. But there was a period in my life when I was nothing like this djembe. When I was 12, I fell into a coma. But not the medical or physical type of coma, but more of a feeling of being in a deep, long sleep. See, before then, I led the perfect life. I was popular at school, many friends around me. I had over 100 family members within a 5 or 6 kilometer radius. I was a member of the Las Piñas Boys Choir, and we performed at all places in Metro Manila in the Philippines. And I had been playing piano for about 4 years. Then one day, my family decided to go on a grand adventure to a place with miles of golden beaches, a place with exotic fruits like peaches and nectarines, apples and oranges, an endless supply of chocolates. A place where there are these animals that jumped all over the streets carrying their babies in their pouches on their belly. Yes, when I was 12, we migrated to Australia. And within 2 weeks of arriving here, I went to school. And after a couple of hours at school, it dawned on me that people here could not understand me, and that I could not understand anyone. I mean, it wasn't a language issue. I spoke fluent English, although back then when I speak with a very, very strong accent like this. It was more of a feeling of not being able to connect with the people around me. For example, someone might share a joke and everyone would laugh, and I have no idea what they're laughing at. I thought I'd do the same, maybe that'll work. I'll say a joke and they would look at me like, what's this guy on, you know? So what started off as a loud, outgoing, very carefree, whatever individual became quiet, shy, withdrawn, almost like I was asleep in a kind of a social coma. I felt like I was a 12-year-old human in an alien world. Then about a year later, my dad bought a piano, second-hand piano. It was like 1,000 years old, had bits falling off it. The keys were turning yellow like badly stained teeth. And it was so big and heavy and cumbersome, we could not fit it into this little unit we were renting. It had to stay in the garage outdoors. But when I played this piano, it felt like home. When I played this piano, it felt secure. It felt familiar. I felt like I was back in my world. So after a while, one day at school during a speech and drama class, there was a piano there and the teacher hadn't arrived yet. So I thought, I'm just going to play a song or two. I don't care what people think. And so I did. And to my surprise, one of my classmates, who never spoke to me before, approached me, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey mate, you play the piano really well. I didn't know you could play." In that moment, in that instant, I felt there was a connection there. I felt like this person here could see where I'm coming from. Like this person here could see into my world. And so I tried to make the most of that. I tried to play the piano as much as I could. And I got noticed. And I got asked to form the school liturgy band. And we played at all the liturgies at school. Later on, I thought, I'm going to learn to play the guitar. And then I did. And I took the guitar to a youth group weekend meeting. And what I realized is that whenever I played the guitar, people would gather around me. People would sit, they would smile, they would talk to each other, they would sing along, or they would ask me to sing some songs, half of which I had no idea what it was. So I realized that piano, guitar were things that I can use to connect with people around me. And I wanted to shout out this personal discovery to the whole world. I wanted to say, hey, you no longer need to feel isolated. You no longer need to feel disconnected with those people around you. Music, that is all you need. But then what about people who don't play piano or guitar or clarinet or violin? One of my first jobs here in Australia was as a community projects officer. And one of the projects that I organized was a drumming workshop. This is before I even laid my hands on a drum. I was the organizer, I filmed, I took registrations and so on. The workshop began and I had nothing to do and I saw a spare drum sitting right there. And I thought, I might as well have a go. Surely it can't be that hard. It might even be fun. So I sat in. So me sitting and joining in that workshop was like the snowflake that created an avalanche of realization. Realization that this instrument right here, although it will take years and decades to master, is easy to learn. That this instrument right here is yet another tool that I can use to connect with people all around me. Because in that workshop, in that 3-hour, 4-hour workshop, I felt connected with everyone in that workshop, all 15 or 20 of us. We were sharing our achievements, little achievements. We were laughing at our own mistakes. We had this shared experience. So me participating in this workshop also created an avalanche of actions for me. After that workshop, I had so much fun, I wanted to keep going. So I invited all the participants to come together at a local park. I said, hey, let's rehearse what we had learned. And we did that one Sunday, and then we did it again, and again, and again. And soon, other people started joining in. They heard about this drumming in the park. More people started coming with their instruments. People brought drums I'd never seen before. People brought other instruments as well. And before long, families were joining in. They were spreading their picnic rugs under a tree, and they were just listening in. Or children would join in with egg shakers and clapsticks, muffin trays, pots and pans. Everyone was joining in. So it became clear to me that people who were participating in the shared experience were connecting with each other, regardless of what instrument they played. And so over the coming years, I started to explore other instruments that I could use as a tool to connect with people. I started to explore instruments like the didgeridoo, the clarinet, all types of drums and percussion instruments, wind instruments. I've even started learning my son's cello. It's about this big. And I found that each of these instruments, just the mere timbre or sound quality of these instruments, is enough to elicit different responses with different people. It's almost like these instruments have a language of their own that has the ability to reach each and everyone around us. And so today, with a very limited time that we have, I would like to share with you some of these instruments. And I invite you to listen to them and just to see how these instruments reach you or see how they speak to you. I have 3 instruments here. The first one on the left, the stringed instrument, is called the Kamele N'goni. The Kamele N'goni comes from West Africa. This one here is built here in Queensland, in Byron Bay. It's called the pie drum. But the original of it, some of you may be familiar with, is called the hang, or the hang drum, some people call it, that originates from Switzerland. It's quite a young instrument, probably about 25 years old. And the third instrument that I will share with you is this. While that is a 25-year-old instrument, this Armenian Duduk dates back 3,000 years. So I will play these instruments for you one after another. As I said, these instruments speak a language of their own, and it's a language that transcends culture, age, gender, religion, and ethnicity. And it's a language that is born not only of the instrument itself, but more importantly, of the person playing it. Sharing music is like sharing a conversation. During a conversation, I say something, you hear it, you process it, and you say something back. Sharing music is just like that. And the best example that I've seen of this is during a drum circle. I've been facilitating drum circles for over 20 years. And in that time, I have seen a lot of magic happen during and after the drum circles. If you're not familiar with a drum circle, it's a gathering of people from all walks of life, making in-the-moment music on drums and percussion instruments. Most of the time, more than half the people have never touched a drum before. Now, during a drum circle, there could be 100 people participating and playing at the same time. People are expressing, people are making things up, people are making their rhythms. People are listening as well. So someone might be feeling really excited, and they start speeding up, and those around him or her may start speeding up as well. And before long, the tempo of the whole rhythm speeds up. One person might be feeling a bit adventurous and starts accenting one or two beats in the rhythm. Those around him or her may copy that, or they may complement it with another similar rhythm. And again, the feeling of the whole groove will change. During a drum circle, there is an ongoing conversation. There's a simultaneous exchange of ideas with all the participants. There's a simultaneous sharing of each other's worlds. When I play music, you share my world. During a drum circle, you get 100 people playing music at the same time, and everyone is sharing each other's worlds. Music connects people. When people feel connected, communities are formed. People feel a sense of belonging, and with that comes healing. I've had a number of people come to me over the years telling me that they've come to the drum circle because they want to send off a loved one who had recently passed away. Or that they'd come to the drum circle just to absorb the energy, absorb the vibrations, and feel a sense of belonging within the community. Some people say they've come to the drum circle to meet like-minded people, and many people do make friends over many years. And some have expressed how surprised they are at how much they had in common with the people around them, with the people whom they met. Perhaps because before they even introduced themselves to each other, before they shook hands, they had already had a conversation. They had already connected with each other, and they had already shared each other's story. Thank you.